All right, so today we're going to dive into something that you might not expect.
Oh,
What it really takes to stand out as a factory worker.
okay.
We're going deep on a guide.
Huh.
It's on Indeed.com, all about nailing those job interviews.
Interesting.
Think of this as your secret weapon, not just for getting hired,
Right.
but for just crushing it on the factory floor.
Interesting choice. I think people often have misconceptions about what's involved. Yeah.
Exactly. We tend to think of factory work as well, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But this guide hints at a whole other layer of skills and traits that employers are really looking for.
You're absolutely right. And it makes sense when you consider what's at stake in a factory environment.
Yeah.
You've got complex machinery-tight deadlines and a huge emphasis on safety.
So it's not just about knowing how to operate a machine.
Right.
It's about being someone reliable, someone who can adapt on the fly and who's hyper aware of safety hazards.
That's a great summary. Those soft skills, as they're often called, are absolutely critical. Think about it. You might be technically skilled,
Right.
but if you can't communicate effectively with your team or stay calm under pressure,
Uh-huh.
you're putting yourself and others at risk.
It's almost like a factory is its own little world, its own ecosystem.
Yeah.
You need those team dynamics to keep things running smoothly and safely.
It's a great analogy. You need people who are not only skilled with their hands,
Right.
but also with their minds.
Yes.
People who can think critically,
Yeah.
problem solve, and work effectively as part of a team.
Speaking of interviews, this guide has some really interesting sample questions.
Okay.
One that jumped out at me was, can you describe a time when you identified a safety hazard and what action did you take?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not just a hypothetical. It's really getting at your mindset on the job.
It is. And the way you answer that question can reveal a lot about your initiative and sense of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just following the bare minimum rules, or are you proactively looking out for potential problems and taking steps to address them? Employers definitely want to see that proactive mindset.
So it's not enough to say, oh, yeah, I know the safety manual.
Right.
You've got to show you're actually applying that knowledge and thinking critically about safety in real-world situations.
Absolutely. That's what truly sets someone apart.
Yeah.
And that critical thinking is a skill that can be applied to so many aspects of factory work, not just safety.
Another question that caught my eye was, how do you handle repetitive tasks?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll be honest, when I think of factory work,
Sure.
that's one of the first things that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But the guide's answer really surprised me.
Oh,
It talked about finding motivation by seeing the bigger picture.
that's a crucial point.
Mm.
It's all about finding meaning in your work, even if it involves repetitive tasks.
So instead of just mindlessly going through the motions,
Right.
you're thinking about how your individual tasks contribute to the final product, to the team's goals, to the success of the company.
Exactly. And that connection to the bigger picture can make all the difference in job satisfaction and long-term motivation.
Yeah.
If you can see how your piece fits into the puzzle,
Right.
it's easier to stay engaged and find meaning in what you're doing.
And let's face it, that kind of mindset is valuable in any job, not just factory work.
Oh, for sure.
But in an environment where you might be doing the same task for hours on end, it seems especially important.
It is, and employers are aware of that.
Yeah.
They want to hire people who can not only handle the repetitive nature of the work,
Right.
but also thrive in that environment.
It sounds like we're talking about resilience here, too.
Yes.
The ability to stay focused and motivated even when things get, well, a bit monotonous.
Resilience is definitely a key ingredient for success in any factory role. And, it's funny, we've been talking about all these mental and emotional skills.
Right.
But there's another question in this guide
Okay.
that kind of reminds us that factory work is, well, physical work.
Oh, right. The one about handling disagreements with a coworker.
Close, but that's coming up.
Okay.
I was thinking about the question that asks
Yeah.
how you'd handle the physical demands of the job.
That's a good one. I think a lot of people might assume that it's just about being strong.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that, right?
Absolutely. It's about stamina, endurance, and being able to work on your feet for extended periods.
It's interesting because we often separate mental work from physical work.
Yeah.
But in a factory, those two things are completely intertwined.
Right.
You need the mental focus to operate machinery safely and efficiently.
Yes.
But you also need the physical strength and stamina to keep up with the demands of the job.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other.
Really?
It's both. And it speaks to the holistic nature of factory work.
Yeah.
It engages your mind and your body.
Okay, now you've got me curious about that other question,
Yeah.
the one about handling disagreements.
Right.
Because let's be honest, conflict is going to happen in any workplace,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you've got a bunch of people working together under pressure.
You're telling me, and that's why this question is so important.
Yeah.
Employers want to see that you can handle conflict constructively,
Mm-hmm.
that you can communicate effectively and find solutions that work for everyone involved.
It's not about avoiding conflict altogether. It's
Right.
about knowing how to navigate those disagreements in a way that's respectful and productive.
Exactly. And those conflict resolution skills,
Mm?
they're valuable no matter where you go in life,
Yeah.
not just on the factory floor. They can help you in your personal relationships, in your community, everywhere.
All this talk about teamwork and conflict resolution,
Yeah.
it really highlights the social aspect of factory work.
Right.
It's not just you and a machine, it's you and a whole team of people working towards a common goal.
That's a great observation. And that sense of community, that camaraderie,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
be a really rewarding part of the job.
So we've talked about the mental and physical demands, the importance of soft skills and teamwork. But what about the long term? Does this guide mention anything about growth opportunities within factory work?
It does.
Okay.
And it's an aspect that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
People might think of factory work as a dead-end job, but that's just not true.
I'm all ears. What kind of paths are we talking about?
Well, with experience and additional training, you could move into a supervisory role
Okay.
or perhaps transition into quality control, ensuring that products meet the highest standards.
So there's room to climb the ladder, to
Mhm.
take on more responsibility, even to specialize in certain areas.
There is. And the guide even mentions the possibility of specializing in operating complex machinery.
Oh, wow.
Those roles often require extensive training and can lead to higher pay and more challenging work.
That's pretty cool. It's like the more you learn, the more specialized your skills become, the more valuable you become to the company.
Exactly. And that ongoing learning and development, that's something that can keep you engaged and motivated for years to come.
All right, I hate to play devil's advocate here, but we've been painting a pretty rosy picture. What about the challenges? Because I'm sure there are some.
Of course, no job is without its challenges, and factory work is no exception.
Right.
We've already touched on the physical demands, the potential for repetitive tasks,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also important to acknowledge that the hours can be long, especially if the factory operates in shifts.
Right. Shift work can be tough.
Yeah.
It can disrupt your sleep schedule, make it harder to maintain a social life, and just generally throw off your routine.
And depending on the industry, the work environment itself can be challenging.
Yeah.
It might be noisy hot or require you to wear uncomfortable safety gear for extended periods.
So it's definitely not for everyone.
Right.
It takes a certain kind of person to thrive in that environment.
It does. But for those who are drawn to hands-on work, who enjoy problem solving, who value teamwork and take pride in their craftsmanship, a factory job can be incredibly fulfilling.
I'm getting the sense that we're talking about more than just a job here.
Huh.
It's almost a mindset, a way of life.
I think you're right, and it's a way of life that's often underappreciated.
You know, one of the things that struck me about this guide was the emphasis on attention to detail.
Yeah.
It might seem obvious,
Right.
but I think a lot of people might underestimate how important that is in a factory setting.
It's absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Whether you're operating machinery, assembling products, or inspecting finished goods, precision and accuracy are paramount.
Right.
Even the smallest mistake can have a ripple effect, impacting product quality, safety, and ultimately the company's bottom line.
So we're not just talking about physical strength or technical skills here. We're
Wow.
talking about having a keen eye, being able to focus intently,
Yes.
and maintaining that focus even when things get repetitive.
That's right. It's about diligence, patience, and a commitment to doing things right every single time.
And those qualities, those are transferable to so many other areas of life too, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Whether you're pursuing a career in manufacturing or something completely different, the ability to pay attention to detail, to focus, and to execute tasks with precision,
Yep.
those are skills that will always be valuable.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We've gone beyond the typical assumptions about factory work and explored the skills, the challenges, and the potential rewards of this often overlooked career path.
We have, and I hope our listener has gained a new appreciation for the complexity and the importance of the work that happens on factory floors all over the world.
You know what's fascinating?
Yeah.
How much we can learn about a job just by digging into these interview questions.
Mhm.
It's like a window
Sure.
into what employers really value and the kind of person that they're looking for.
It's true, and it highlights the importance of preparation
Yeah.
and going beyond just the surface level.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just know the technical skills.
Yeah.
You need to understand the mindset, the soft skills, the whole package.
It's like you can learn how to operate a forklift, but can you operate it safely? Can you operate it as part of a team?
Yeah.
Can you handle the pressure and the responsibility that comes with that job?
Exactly.
Those are the things that really matter.
And those are the things that this guide has helped us to uncover.
Right.
It's not just about getting the job. It's about excelling in that role,
Yeah.
thriving in that environment, and building a successful and fulfilling career.
I think one of the most surprising takeaways for me has
Yeah.
been the emphasis on personal qualities like resilience,
Yes,
adaptability, and attention to detail.
it's true.
Those are skills that are valuable in any profession,
Right.
but they seem especially crucial in a factory setting.
They are, and it makes you realize that factory work is so much more than just physical labor.
Yeah.
It requires mental agility, problem-solving skills, and the ability to work effectively as part of a team.
And let's not forget that sense of pride in your work,
Right.
that craftsmanship.
Hmm.
That comes from knowing you're contributing to something bigger than yourself.
That's a great point. It's about taking ownership of your tasks, no matter how small or repetitive they might seem,
Right.
and knowing that you're playing a vital role in the overall success of the operation.
So to our listener out there,
Yeah.
if you're considering a career in manufacturing, or even if you're just curious about what it takes to succeed in that world,
Mm-hmm.
I think this deep dive has given you a pretty good overview.
It has.
It's demanding work, no doubt,
Yeah.
but it's also rewarding, challenging, and full of opportunities for growth.
And remember those skills we've talked about.
Yes.
Resilience, attention to detail, teamwork.
Uh-huh.
Those are transferable skills that will serve you well no matter what path you choose in life.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the heart of factory work. We hope you learned something new, gained a fresh perspective, and maybe even discovered a hidden appreciation for the people who make the things we use every day.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world around you.